moving on from the biggest scandal possibly in presidential campaign history, which no one cares about. It was the media did decide to cover or spend an extraordinary amount of time, an inordinate amount of time, covering President Biden's remarks about the campaign rally, the Nazi rally in New York, where one of Trump's favorite comedians that he no longer knows after he made this joke, where he was calling Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, President Biden referred to those comments as garbage. And there was a media firestorm about whether or not President Biden was referring to Trump supporters as garbage. Regardless of whether he actually said that or not, Trump supporters are garbage. I mean, I think that's fairly obvious. And then considering the fact that the Trump campaign and even Trump himself has spent years attacking immigrants and gay people and trans people and black people and Democratic supporters and the media, we've got the, let's go Brandon / fuck Joe Biden chants and signs everywhere. But the second that President Biden says fuck you back, somehow it's a massive scandal.
I know. Somehow, yeah. Fuck you. I didn't know that fuck you too was a snowflake melter, but apparently.
Apparently it is. Well, the Republican Party was irate about possibly being called garbage no matter what.
How dare you engage in the behavior that we use constantly?
Nonstop.
It caused quite the outrage on the right. And here we have a clip of Charlie Kirk. Well, just it's something. I'll tell you that.
Where the current president of the United States thinks that you're a bunch of garbage. Well, look around, Mr. President, because there's a lot of garbage here tonight.
You're garbage, and you're garbage.
You're garbage, and you're garbage. All of us Trump supporters are garbage. Yeah, it's funny. We've got them calling themselves garbage. See,
that's not, you didn't own us.
Yeah, well, and then after that, I was like, well, damn, I wish Biden had called them pieces of shit.
Well, I mean, they did wear diapers. So
they did. That diaper Don thing, that was a thing for a while. They've gone from diapers to dressing up as garbage on Halloween. And even, Trump pretending to be a garbage man later on in the week after those
And then
comments.
everybody just started wearing those garbage man vests. You just saw them everywhere. People at his rally, Hulk Hogan, like everybody. It's like, then did you see Vivek Ramaswamy helping the garbage guy?
Yeah,
put the garbage in the truck and then riding around on the back. And
yeah, he worked like half a shift as garbage
people
man.
Are so goddamn weird.
It's so strange, but it doesn't get any weirder than this right here. You're not going to believe it.
Ends treasure. And today in Wisconsin, take a look at that. This may go down as an iconic, epic moment that we will remember for a long time. Donald Trump.
Yeah, John
bust his ass.
John Hannity was right about that. It will go down as an iconic moment where Trump, if he loses the election, that clip will go quintuple platinum of Trump pretending to be a guards man and losing his balance and almost busting his ass simply trying to get into a truck. Now, the media spent, numerous months talking about Biden's potential failing mental acuity. They spent weeks and weeks talking about Hillary Clinton's health in 2016. Donald Trump appears to be physically and mentally failing. No one cares. Again, that's why we're here to share with you the information that the mainstream media really won't. But
yeah, oh, right. I forgot about that. Like Hillary Clinton having like an occasional like facial twitch and people are like, she's having an aneurysm or like they're hiding from us.
Hillary's
like,
stroke. Is she physically able to be president?
Yeah, she's out doing 3 campaign rallies a day for like 2 weeks, and then she fainted at one time when they're like, Hillary Clinton secretly dying.
Or
That?
dead.
Oh no, that was Joe Biden. Like the week that everything shut down for the pandemic.
Show us the body.
Yeah, everything shut down for the pandemic, and Biden was at home setting up some kind of like the broadcast system in his basement, and everyone was proclaiming Joe Biden to be dead. But yet here we have all of this evidence of Trump's mental and physical decline. No one cares. No one covers it. It's extraordinarily frustrating. But again, I don't expect the mainstream media to actually do their jobs. and that's why we exist. But Tucker Carlson, rather Charlie Kirk, I don't get them confused. It's just like there's so many MAGA morons that it's hard to keep which one is which. But Charlie Kirk wasn't the only one upset with being potentially referred to as garbage. Brett Favre, former quarterback of the Green Bay Packers and the New York Jets and the Minnesota Vikings.
I'll show my penis to whoever I want, Favre. Okay.
Had some comments about that.
I can assure you, we're not garbage.
And that is an absolute.
That's the guy who stole millions from kids on welfare.
Yeah, he allegedly stole millions of dollars from a fund dedicated to, social benefit.
Poor people.
Poor people. And I mean, I don't want to underprivileged people in Mississippi, stole them, basically embezzled the money for a stadium for
his daughter at a college.
And this is the guy who also famously, when he was in New York, sent pictures of his dick to a female reporter, proclaiming.
It was weird looking. I remember seeing the picture.
All right. Well, thanks for looking for us. I wasn't gonna.
Yeah,
gonna click on that.
It's a hard pass.
Yeah,
hard pass
or a soft pass. I don't really. I don't know what it looked like.
I guess I was more curious. What did it? It had like a weird flat head. Just like. I mean, maybe it was just a bad angle. Men are
like
very bad at
like a hammer,
flat, like a flat little helmet. Like it's very flat.
I don't know what politics has done over the course of the past year, but we spend entirely too much time talking about
penises. This has nothing to do. This was not a political thing at the time.
No, it wasn't. It was just.
I think I was just like 23, and people are like,
"See how we just circled right back to dicks."
Yeah, we can't get away from dick.
Right. Sorry.
No.
Wait, no, I didn't bring. Yes, I did.
Yeah, Brett Favre is just not only is he a trash person. I mean, he wasn't a trash football player, but I didn't enjoy. It's extraordinarily weird that Green Bay has had a string of quarterbacks out here on some weird political shit, and that includes Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers.
Maybe is it the cheese?
There's something in the cheese, Ty?
Maybe.
Is that what
Did somebody say cheese?
Wisconsin, Green Bay.
I've got some Gouda in the fridge. Gouda slices. Or little Gouda packs I got from Costco.
I don't know.
Got my Nimbus, but we should continue with the thing.
Well, it's weird that like the worst people in every single avenue of life end up becoming Trump supporters, and they're complaining about the fact that they're being called garbage. And while they also continue to prove us right, but the garbage continues with the Trumpers and the Trump campaign. And here's a clip of Trump calling America a garbage can.
It's like I said this. The press gave me a hard time on this one. They said it was very no, I don't think it's disrespectful. It's like we're a giant garbage can.
So there you go. The hypocrisy that they don't care when they're calling other people or even America itself garbage, but yet when someone turns the rhetoric back on them, they cry like bitches. They cannot help themselves.
If the American people got as upset about Trump calling us garbage as the Boricuas did when they were called garbage, man, we wouldn't even be here.
Kamala Harris, 50 states. We'd be calling it now. Election over.
Right?
Yeah, but speaking of Trump making just comments detrimental to his character in terms of attacking other people with choice words, here's a clip of, just a super clip of Trump saying multiple horrible things.
I want to play this because I think it's very instructive what you're talking about. Okay, Joe Biden said what he said, but this is Donald Trump all along.
My response to Joe and Kamala is very simple. You can't lead America if you don't love Americans. You just can't. And you can't be president if you hate the American people. And there's a lot of hatred. It's the people that surround her. They're scum. They're scum. And they want to take down our country. They are absolute garbage. Any Jewish person that votes for her, especially now, her or the Democrat Party, should have their head examined. It's the enemy from within, all the scum that we have to deal with that hate our country. That's a bigger enemy than China and Russia. Any African American or Hispanic, and you know how well I'm doing there, that votes for Kamala, you got to have your head examined because they are really screwing you.
This is the reality of the race that we are in. It's not in a vacuum. And Trump he's just not the poster child for respecting people on the other side of the aisle.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Candidate, trash supporters, always trashing their opponents, trashing the country, and they're outraged about the fact that we think that they're trash. Just
Did you see Doug Burgum with Kristen Welker on Meet the Press? And he was like, calling half of the American people garbage, Joe Biden, that's just, it just shows the disrespect they have for the American people. And then Kristen Welker, it's like, roll the tape. And then it was Trump. And then he goes, that's politics. And then he said some shit about, then he was like, I don't think the American people really care. That's just politics. And then he says, we should talk about Ukraine.
yeah, she cooked him. I'm not a fan of Kristen Welker. Like, I didn't believe it was possible for Chuck Todd to leave and MSNBC replace him with someone that could make me miss Chuck Todd. But they did so with Kristen Welker.
She just has no pushback. None.
Well, no, it's not that she doesn't have pushback. Generally speaking, she is she's soft selling Trump and the Trump campaign in large part. But in that one instance, she actually did her job and she cooked Doug Burgum, and it was nothing he could say. He was done.
When he was like, I want to talk about Gaza. Like he went on a whole other, and she's just sitting there. But I do like how now, MSM, they're showing clips to counter. So it's like I feel like a lot of them are doing okay, I'm not going to push back, but we're going to let this clip do it. And then they sit and let them change the subject and then don't say anything else about it. But I do like that they're actually showing the clip so people can see the hypocrisy. Yeah, I'll take what I can get, I guess, right now from MSM. So
yeah, fair enough. They're definitely not going to go out of their way to attack the Trump campaign or Trump himself. But at the very least, when they do occasionally show the actual words that come out of Trump's mouth, it is effective. And that's largely because, like, the idea that Republicans are trying to hold Kamala Harris accountable for something that Biden said, even though he didn't say it, is bananas when they won't even hold Trump accountable for the things that actually come out of his mouth.
Yeah.
But yeah, there you go. We're days from election and you've got multiple clips of, one of the candidates saying horrific things about the other side of the aisle, the media, the country. And what are the election prospects? 50-50. Good job, America. Speaking of Trump making extraordinarily detrimental comments to himself and vicious comments about his political opponents, well, here's Trump. Well, I don't want to say what he said about Liz Cheney, but you'll hear it for yourself.
Then, go a couple of years forward or go now. And I don't blame him for sticking with his daughter, but his daughter is a very dumb individual, very dumb.
The crowd.
She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. When the guns are trained on her face.
That was Trump saying that he was going to send Liz Cheney off to war faced with numerous firearms and see how she
that was a firing squad. Okay.
You caught that too.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like a firing squad. I know that that's what they tried to. I don't know who it was on TV.
Yes,
like
but they
which senator
also
was
forget
defending him.
that just 4 months ago he was posting shit that she should be in front of a military tribunal, and that he said that, you know, Mark Milley should be executed for treason. So
yeah, that wasn't the first time.
That shit.
That wasn't the first time he's floated the idea of having his generals executed. But yeah, again, the context there was sending Liz Cheney off to war, but the undertone there was sending Liz Cheney to the firing squad. Trump also had an extraordinarily weird comment about Liz Cheney post fact that we'll play for you right now.
Then, you know, go a couple of years forward or go now. And I don't blame him for sticking with his daughter, but his daughter's a very dumb individual, very dumb. She's a radical war hawk.
And that was the wrong clip, but
so I'm like, what did I miss?
That was here we are.
People never even heard of. We should attack. She's a big tough guy. You know, she's a big tough one. She's a tough one. But if you gave Liz Cheney a gun and put her into battle facing the other side with guns pointing at her, she wouldn't have the courage or the strength or the stamina to even look the enemy in the eye. She wouldn't have. She sits back in Washington. Oh, we ought to go and attack Iran, Iraq. We're going to attack everybody. That's why I broke up with her. All she wanted to do is go to war with everyone.
Yeah, so it's really like broke up with Liz. Like, what are you implying there? Were you banging Liz Cheney? I don't understand. This dude is a fucking weirdo. But
I think he was making a quote unquote joke about having dated her. Just, you know, it's may seem funny, but he's also just disrespecting her because he can.
Well, this is the thing, right? So after we've seen the Jeffrey Epstein tape, or listen to the Jeffrey Epstein tape of proclaiming that Trump has a fetish for fucking his friends' girls. Like, I don't like the implication of the joke he's making there. Like, it's one thing for, you know, someone to make a joke like that in public, but it's another thing if, say, like Drake were to do it, when Drake is notorious for making it a point to circle back and try and bag his friends' girls. Like, it's just, it's doubly disgusting. It's part of the reason why in all these rap beefs he keeps getting destroyed, because these dudes was like, yo man, don't mention my girl's name, because if you take it down, we gonna pull out all the stops. That's why he lost to Kendrick Lamar, for starters, for mentioning his girl. But yeah, just alluding to the idea that maybe he has some kind of weird relationship. It's just, Liz Cheney is gross. It is gross, and I just don't want to think about Liz Cheney in any kind of romantic fashion. And I don't want to think about Trump in any kind of sexual fashion. And I definitely don't want to think about the two of them together. Sorry.
That's your biggest problem with it.
I just don't want to. I'm trying to avoid the visualization.
Not the just disrespectful, casual throwing out a rumor about a woman colleague or the vague threat of sexual violence. No,
I mean, it's all bad, but like we've beaten to death like I don't know, just the fact that Trump is just in all ways possible a misogynist and hates women. I think we've like beat that horse into the ground. Not that we don't cover it in every opportunity, but also, I don't want the visualization. I don't. But speaking of the misogyny,
I know our audience gets it. It's just part of it. Pisses me off that the media is like, actually, no. I guess the media. It wasn't even the media. It was a fucking Republican senator.
He's got, you know, when he was making that comment about her and the firing squad, I have zero doubt that he has mentally pictured that in his mind, because that was very, very vivid. Trained at her face. Like, he's obviously never been into war, because that's really not how it goes. You know what I mean? But
no, especially not in the 2000s.
Yeah. But I just know, I'm like, he's fantasized about that a lot. And you can tell.
Yeah, you absolutely can't tell. I mean, and I think after, supposedly getting shot or at least having bullets fired in his direction, he's been thinking about a lot of other people getting shot in a way that, well, obviously he has no empathy. So even though he's been in the situation, he can't imagine anyone else being in a similar situation unless it's to punish his adversaries, which just.
Well, it's just that he doesn't care about what anyone else feels. It's not that he couldn't imagine it. He just doesn't care.
Yeah, well, no empathy whatsoever in his regard. But speaking of Trump fantasizing about violence directed at his adversaries.
To get me, somebody would have to shoot through the fake news. And I don't mind that so much, because I don't mind that.
Which is just like, hey, man, if that's not a wake up call for the media, I don't know what is. Like, they're not going to cover all of these stories detrimental to Trump because obviously they want him in the White House for 4 years so they can have 4 more years of clicks as the industry is dying.
It's going to be hard to do that from their pogrom.
Yeah, good luck covering the Trump administration when he's got you in front of a firing squad. You're no longer with us. But, I don't understand like how the media comes to these decisions about what they will and won't cover and what becomes a story and what doesn't, because there's been endless click-worthy scandals surrounding the Trump campaign for months now, and it just disappears like a vapor of smoke. They don't stick to anything. They don't cover anything in depth. They don't make anything really newsworthy, no matter how just detrimental it could potentially be to the Trump campaign, and probably because it could be detrimental to the Trump campaign.
You know why? It's because most of the people in the newsrooms are white and they don't think that anything is going to happen to them. Yeah, I think that plays into it. I think their privilege, their entitlement, and they have this, I don't know.
They're from the entertainment industry, so they're used to the competition, and they're like, I'm going to get the part as like,
oh, you're gonna get the part, all right.
The media, the state media anchor, and chief dick sucker.
But here's what I think, though. So their inability to, their inability to cover these Trump scandals over the course of the past year, it would immediately flip the second Trump, if he happens to wins the election, because then there would be no danger of him not being president for 4 years. So then they would spend every second of the day covering every single Trump scandal possible, because there'd be no potential damage to their cash cow. Like, once he wins the election, you're not getting him out of the White House. So I think they would spend endless days covering all of this insane shit that he's saying or doing. And I'm assuming that's a game plan. I don't even really know. I don't have a word to describe just how disgusting it is. Because when he was in office the first time around, they did spend quite a bit of time covering all the Trump insanity, but they never once covered it in such a way as though to present the idea that he wasn't qualified to be president. Not the way they did for Biden after a single debate performance. They've never obsessed over anything like that.
They never had that kind of smoke to like push it. They just sensationalized it, and they think it's going to be like that this go round, and it's not. Because one thing Trump doesn't do is forget the people he believes wronged him, regardless of if he is not calling you out by name. He's got a revenge list. Make no mistake about that. And if they think that that's not going to happen, I don't know what the fuck.
They need to take, I know we just beat this to death, but the idea that we're comparing the Trump campaign to the rise of the Nazis in Germany in the 1930s, it's because there's a direct parallel. This is actually how the Nazis came to power. They won power with a minority of the vote thanks to votes being siphoned off by a third party. And once they were in power, they immediately began to entrench themselves in power. And the first thing they did wasn't go after their political opponents in terms of the other party. they cleaned house in their own party first. And then the next thing they did immediately after that, they came for the media.
Yep.
And I don't understand how the media themselves can't learn from, the most obvious lessons in history about how they're next. They're like on the list of things to do the second Trump gets in office. But again, at least if Trump wins next week and he ends up in the White House in January, the people who are largely responsible for enabling this man over the course of the past decade, they'll be the first to go, and I'll get some satisfaction of that before I'm shipped off.
While I'm in my pogrom, I will relish in the fact that they are also in theirs. That will be one, something I will hold on to on those long.
Yeah, as I'm starving to death, nothing will give me more satisfaction than watching all of the hosts at CNN end up in front of a firing squad. It'll be a fantastic experience there. But
no, we don't really. No, come on, man. I don't want to see any firing squads of anybody unless they are tried. And I don't know. Now the courts are bullshit too. Now though,
we're joking, Carol. We're not serious.
Our country is garbage. That's what the ex-president said.